Drop it. We're filming. What, you said, how long do you think? I don't know where to go from there.
Views out here are just unbelievable.
You never skied here?
No, it's my first time
Oh,
here.
dude. Once we get like back up into that stuff, you're gonna be blown away.
My name is Mike Alberts. I'm a principal and head of business development for Cohere Capital, Boston-based, lower middle market PE firm. So we're 100% focused on business services, tech-enabled services, and really broad tech. I like to say any services company that is building, buying, integrating, consulting on, reselling, or integrating technology, we're probably going to be interested. Lower middle market, founder-owned businesses, 3 to 15 of EBITDA, really where folks are looking for a partner in the next stage and want to roll equity and take the thing to the moon.
So y'all like it when founders are staying on more so than like a carve out where you have to build a management team around a deal?
You know, we've done both. Honestly, we prefer where there's a management team in place, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the existing founder or the original founder.
Mm-hmm.
We have got a carve out in our original portfolio, or our first portfolio, and it's just that the whole team came with the business, was really excited about the growth.
Yeah.
So we don't have any sort of gray hair waiting in the wings, ready to put them into the company and say, hey, you know, management team that's built this business, here's your new mom or dad, and they're going to tell you what to do. We like to kind of build a strategy with the existing team.
In your sourcing efforts, is that something you're pre-qualifying usually?
Yeah, primarily. So we do about 90% of our deal sourcing through sell-side intermediaries. So think business brokers, investment banks, you know, in some cases, lawyers and accounting firms, you know, that are
just like
helping
warm intro kind of.
Yeah, warm intros like that. And then the other 10% usually comes through our network, you know, introductions through folks that we've worked with in the past or something. And generally the first question is, what's the team look like? Are they excited about the business? They want to stick around, and then get into, you know, what does this business do? Why do they exist? And, you know, how are they using tech today? Or how can we build or buy some technology to help improve the margin profile of the business? For us, we're sort of end market and industry agnostic, right?
Yeah.
So it could be, you know, a business that's serving manufacturing or industrial customers, or distribution customers, or, you know, consumer, you know, B2B services, or even healthcare, right? If it's more of an outsourced services company that, you know, again, we can either build some technology into or is using technology to deliver their service. It's a little bit better than the other options out there. That's sort of where we get excited. So I'll give you an example. We've invested in a marketing services business that does search engine optimization, content management, a number of other things for small businesses. And they have a software platform internally that, instead of people typing content or trying to manage all of the SEO keywords, we have a software solution that does that and enables the team, the people at the keyboards, or the people on site at those companies, to know what the right content is, to put that content on their website. And so it takes a people service and, you know, adds a little bit of tech leverage to it.
Yeah.
You know, you still need people to manage the overall vision, make sure that you're swimming in the right direction, but you're using technology to, you know, sort of cut out some of the mundane aspects. Well, I'll step back. We launched the firm in 2019 and raised our first fund in March of 2020, right when the world was shutting down from COVID. That was a $200 million fund. We fully deployed that into 7 platform investments, and then we just announced that we closed our fundraise for our second fund at $215 million. Thank you very much. Yes, very excited about that. And we also announced a partnership with TPG Capital, the large private equity firm, which is great. And so we're
in what way?
So TPG is essentially partnering with lower middle market, smaller emerging managers to help kind of invest in smaller companies. Their funds are larger and all kind of in different strategies. So by partnering with us, they're getting access to these smaller deals, and then in turn, we get access to their operating partners, their talent network, their deal teams, their industry folks, and so it's sort of like a collaborative relationship. It took us 3 or 4 years to deploy the first fund. I think we'll look to do plus or minus 4 years for fund 2, another 6 or 7 investments. But we're super excited. We've built out the team, which is great. There's 9 of us now. We just brought on a new professional to sit across our portfolio, sort of a head of portfolio operations. This woman, Hillary Foley, she's awesome.
What does that role really mean? Like, what's your function?
Yeah, so when we were working with portfolio companies, we don't have a playbook where we say, okay, here's the Cohere playbook, talk to us in a couple of years. It's not like that. We set up a bespoke value creation plan where we're sitting down and saying, all right, what do we want to achieve
for
as
each
a business? Exactly. And so Hillary's role is essentially managing all of those value creation initiatives, not only with our companies, but internally, with our deal teams. And so she's always thinking about growth and value creation, whereas I'm thinking about business development, finding new opportunities, and Nick and Daniel, the 2 co-founders, are thinking about also new deals and building out our portfolio companies, thinking about fund 1 and fund 2.
Right.
So there's just a lot of different swim lanes, and so to have someone so focused on just growing the portfolio companies and being a support system to our management teams, that was really important to us to add to the team.
Yeah. Entry into private equity.
Yep.
What was your route? How'd you find it?
So I went to SMU, thought I wanted to be a lawyer, stumbled upon a couple internships, and I learned about what M&A is, really through a family friend. I basically studied as much as I could online, Googled everything. What is investment banking? What do investment bankers do? And I started cold calling and warm calling anybody in investment banking that would talk to me. And after hundreds of those calls and emails, was able to get a job at BB&T Capital Markets doing investment banking. Worked there for a year, and then Houlihan doing M&A for 2 years. And same kind of thing. I said, oh wow, this private equity thing sounds really interesting. I'd love to invest in companies and find ways to build them. And so I started reaching out to private equity firms, and I landed on a firm called Cohere Capital in Dallas, which they were keen to hire a guy that went to school in Texas and wanted to be back in Dallas. I went to Cohere, and that was my first foray into private equity. Awesome firm, really great founders that gave me and our whole team a lot of autonomy and responsibility. And so I learned, what it was like to invest in companies, work with them, and grow them.
What was your role there?
So I was an associate just on the execution team. So I was doing a lot of, financial analysis, digging through data rooms, working with our management teams. Actually, one of the co-founders of Cohere and my colleagues today is a guy named Daniel Gedney, who I worked with basically on every deal at Cohere, which is how I came into the picture at Cohere. When he and Nick decided to start Cohere, they luckily thought of me and gave me a call and said, hey, you want to leave your current job and come join us. And so Cohere was a great entree, but I kind of wasn't sure that I wanted to do private equity forever. And so I ended up leaving and joining a healthcare company to help manage and build their sales team. And so I got my little foray into sales and business development, and I really liked it, but I really liked trying to find growth opportunities instead of just selling new business. And so I ended up moving into a P&L role and managed the West Coast P&L for that business right before Nick and Daniel called. And I'll give Daniel a lot of credit. He said, we really need somebody to come help us launch this thing that can be a Swiss Army knife, help us execute, help us, on the HR side, help us with the portfolio. But I think over time, you'd be really good to run business development. And I was like, I don't know like if that's the right role for me, but it is 100% the right role for me, because I absolutely love finding new deals, building relationships with not only management teams, investment bankers, folks like you, all people in the M&A market. And I really like to try to be helpful to other people in the market. And I think that lends itself really well for driving new deals, both not only for platform investments for our company, for our firm, but also for add-ons, strategic growth opportunities for our portfolio companies. So I sort of stumbled into the business development role, even though I had seen it, in different flavors at previous firms.
Right. There's a lot of different ways to do business development. There's not one correct way or not, right?
Yep.
It's more based on your personality even.
Yep.
But what's an important piece of that to you? Do you value, obviously, the relationship side, but are you big into tracking, or what's a process that's kind of unique to you?
The first thing that comes to my mind, the most important thing in business development in my mind, is find ways to help other people. Find ways to help people that you think you're going to do business with. Find ways to help people that you might not do business with.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, that's going to help you build actually lasting relationships that people actually care about.
Yeah.
And I think that's the name of the game. And selfishly, I get a lot of joy from helping out other people.
Yeah. we were talking this morning. I've been getting a lot of inbounds from people that are interested in private equity.
Yep.
I had someone comment on a video recently to ask a guest for their advice on entering into the business if you were just coming out of college. I think a different way to ask that, in your seat as a private equity professional, what impresses you whenever somebody reaches out to you to like pick your brain about the industry, or maybe even in an interview process?
I'll start with interview process because we actually just went through bringing on some new team members. I think when you're going into an interview, doing a lot of research on not only the company and the founders, but of everyone that you're going to meet with. Know where they went to college, know maybe where they worked, or if they have some interest on their LinkedIn, or you can Google people and find out stuff. I think going the extra mile to learning about somebody and then asking them targeted questions about that, it builds a different sort of relationship. And I think that also goes when you're reaching out cold to someone. It's always helpful to reach out to someone where you have some sort of overlap, whether you're from the same town, you went to the same high school, you went to the same college, you both really like skiing, you both really like triathlon. I mean, I'm a sucker for triathlon. So somebody's like, hey, I'm a big time, I've done 2 Ironmans, I want to get into private equity, can I talk to you? 9 times out of 10, I'm picking up the phone.
All right, anybody listening to this that wants to talk to Mike.
Yeah, because it's the stuff I like to do.
Yeah.
And so I find that to be helpful. If you send an email where it's super long and there's all this content, people are busy, they don't have time to read it.
Sure.
Keep it short and sweet. I remember when I was in college, I had a mentor tell me, if you're going to write a cold email to somebody, make it be short enough that when they're reading it on their BlackBerry, it's just on 1 or 2 lines.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we could say iPhone now because BlackBerries are gone. But yeah, just kind of keep it short and simple. Yeah.